This video is section 3.2, Solving Systems Algebraically. We're going to go over two methods, substitution and elimination. But before we begin, why don't you do arithmetic in the jungle? Because if you add 4 plus 4, you would get 8 as an ATE. Okay, so the first method we're going to talk about is substitution. So we have our system right here, x plus y equals 8. And we have another equation, negative x plus y equals 2. You can break this down into 3 steps. Step 1, solve one of the equations for one of the variables. And when you look to decide which variable you want to solve for, you typically want to pick a variable with a coefficient of 1. That way you don't have to divide. But any variable would work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the first equation, and I'm going to solve this for y. Or for x, I mean. So I'm going to subtract the y over, and now I have x is equal to 8 minus y. Okay? So I solved for x. Step 2, you're going to take that expression that you solved for, and you're going to plug it into the x in the second equation. So my second equation was negative x plus y equals 2. So this x right here, I got 8 minus y. I'm going to plug it into this x. Now notice the x in the second equation has a negative sign on the outside, so it'll still be there when I do my substitution. Now it looks like the opposite of the quantity 8 minus y plus y equals 2. All I've done is simply take out this x and replace it with 8 minus y. Alright, we need to distribute this negative sign, so I get negative 8 plus y. Well, y plus y is 2y, and I can add 8 to the other side. Y, or 2 plus 8 is 10. Divide both sides by 2, we get y is 5. Okay. I have now found the value of y. I need to go back and find the value of x. So, remember our very first equation in step 1? Remember we have x is equal to 8 minus y. You can plug 5 in for any y, but your easiest one to plug it is what you got from step 1. Because now you just have x is equal to 8 minus 5, which is 3. So those two lines intersect at the point 3, 5. Okay, the next method is elimination. And elimination is when you add two equations together to eliminate one of the variables. So if I were to write out my equations right now, I have x plus 2y equals negative 1, and x minus y equals 8. If I go to add these, I don't get rid of any of the variables. I would get 2x plus 1y equals 7. So I need to do something to them so that I can get rid of one variable. Now, you want one of the variables to be opposite of the other. Let's start with the y's. Doesn't matter which one you pick. The first equation has a coefficient of 2, and the second equation has a coefficient of negative 1. So at least my y's are opposite signs. And in order to make them opposite coefficients, if I multiply the second equation by 2, I will now get 2x minus 2y equals 16. Everything is multiplied by 2. And now I can leave my first equation alone. If I go ahead and I add these two equations together, I get 1x plus 2x, which is 3x. Notice then that your y's, 2y plus negative 2y, is 0y. The y's have now been eliminated because we made them opposite coefficients. Then I have -1 plus 16, so I get 15. All right, I'm going to divide by 3. X is 5. I've just now solved for one of the variables. Once I have one of the variables, all I need to do is plug it into one of the equations to solve for y. Doesn't matter which one. You can do elimination again to solve for the y, and that will work as well. All right, so I'm going to plug 5 into the second equation right here. So we have x, scratch that. We have x minus y equals 8. And now I'm going to put 5 minus y equals 8 because x is really 5. Subtract 5 over. Negative y equals 3, which means positive y equals -3. And I now have my intersection point on those two lines. So those lines will intersect at the point 5, -3. What I want you to do is work on number 11 and number 12 in your notes, and I will check those tomorrow. If you have any questions about it, you need to come see me before school begins.